Hello, I'm Dr. Caren Rodrigues, and along with my colleagues, Dr. Krishnamurthy and Reverend Dr. Manoj D'Souza, SJ from St. Joseph's Institute of Management, we will be talking about how we are engendering societal concerns through secondary data projects in our institute here in Bangalore, India. So, we are a Jesuit institute, and one of our main objectives is to ensure that students develop a concern for society and the environment. And we want to pass this on as what Pope Francis called a guarantee of human sustainability in the future generations. And to this end, we adapted the personal involvement inventory tool to measure. And we used a secondary data CSR project as a tool to engender more concern for societal issues. So, to give you a little more context, St. Joseph's Institute of Management is the oldest business school in Karnataka state. Which is a state in southern India, and it is managed by the Jesuit fathers. Our overarching mission is even though we are a business school, we want to imbibe our business students with a spirit of ethics, inclusiveness, and social service, more specifically to ensure that our students develop a genuine concern for the issues affecting society and the environment. And to this end, we have a core compulsory course titled Corporate Social Responsibility. And we offer this to the students, but through a slightly different approach. As we know, Pope Francis, in his meeting with UNESCO in 2020, said that each generation should consider how best we can hand on our knowledge and values to the next. And we found that secondary data content can be a way through which enormous information and knowledge can be passed on to future generations. So by working on such data, our students are able to understand how our generation responded to current societal and environmental issues, and they have this in mind when they go out into industries themselves. So the pedagogy that we use to inspire this social concern, we have regular pedagogy. Knowledge is transmitted to a 33-hour contact 33 contact hour course, during which we talk about the concepts of CSR, targets, focuses, and so on. And we have the usual assessments that reinforce learning. But the new component that we try and do is a secondary data project. We've done it. So what we do is each student collects CSR related information from the annual reports of a top 100 company in India over a 10-year period. And then in groups, the students put all these companies together, and they find commonality, they find patterns, and they draw conclusions. And what we do is we measure at two periods. One is before the course starts. We measure the students' own perception of their social and environmental concerns. And after this 3-month course, we again measure the students' own perception of social and environmental concerns and the extent of volunteering activity. Now, when we did this, what we found is that the scales that we used for measurement was found to be reliable. There was indeed a rise in involvement levels. It was 33 before the course and 42 after the course, and the difference was significant. We also did an ANOVA to compare the involvement, the level of involvement for those students who volunteered versus those who did not. And very interestingly, before the course, the level of involvement between these two groups of students showed no difference, which means that all students started more or less on the same level. After the course, the level of involvement for students who decided to volunteer was much higher than the students who didn't. It showed a significant difference. So what we illustrated is that our pedagogy raised the level of involvement in some students to such an extent that they undertook volunteer work in societal and environmental issues. And also, even if everybody did not volunteer, there was a general rise in the level of involvement in societal and environmental concerns among all students after the course was completed. Um, I do hope that you can use some of these things in your own pedagogy and in your own courses. Thank you for your time.